One. Hello everyone, my name is Evan Savikas, and in this video I'm going to walk through how the concepts of frames and reframing have helped me better understand myself as a leader and how these ideas apply to leading people in the construction industry. So what are frames? One of the biggest takeaways from this course is that frames are the mental lenses we use to make sense of situations. And in construction, where there's constant pressure, deadlines, subcontractors, RFIs, safety issues, and coordination challenges, our frames shape how we react on a daily basis. Earlier in the semester, we discussed Bowman and Deal's four frames: the structural frame, human resources frame, political frame, and the symbolic frame. These highlight different ways leaders interpret organizations. For example, the structural frame looks at roles, systems, and processes. The HR frame focuses on people, their needs, and their relationships. The political frame looks at interests and power dynamics, and the symbolic frame explains meaning, culture, and vision. But the biggest lesson I learned is that using only one frame limits your effectiveness because construction teams don't all think the same. An example of this is when a subcontractor crew blames, or when a superintendent blames a crew for not following directions because he saw the issue purely through a structural frame: roles, schedules, and the responsibilities of the crew. But reframing it through the HR frame, maybe they didn't actually understand the new drawings that had been just sent out. It's not laziness, it was a communication gap, especially with the amount of Spanish speaking workers in the industry. So, what is reframing? Reframing is stepping outside of our default approach and choosing a different lens. Construction is full of moments where reframing is a difference between conflict and collaboration. For example, a subcontractor may blow a deadline, and our instinct is they dropped the ball. But reframing might reveal that they were waiting on another trade or missing information. When an owner requests a late change, our first thought is, oh wow, that's scope creep. But reframing that might show an opportunity in the future to set expectations with them clear and earlier on. This course helped me see that reframing isn't just a leadership technique, it's essential for staying calm, making better decisions, and leading people who don't think like me. Now I want to shift more to the personal side. This course, I've learned a lot about, I'm learned a lot what I'm about and my preferences, especially through the color model. My strongest preference is the cool blue, who are analytical, logical, detail-oriented, structured, calm, and prepared. And that frame generally makes sense when I reflect on how I communicate clearly, especially when it comes to scope, quantities, and expectations. I thrive in estimating by verifying quantities, analyzing drawings, and checking specs. I don't rush decisions, which helps avoid costly mistakes. I'm good at writing detailed RFIs and catching design inconsistencies. And this summer, I was the guy who caught the missing door hardware set on one of our submittals. Verify wrong spec references, or the equipment in the ceiling that led to a lengthy phone call with a veteran trades guy. But throughout this course, I've learned the things that make me comfortable and the things that didn't make me comfortable that I never wanted to admit. For example, I over-explain when dealing with yellow personalities like architects and marketing teams who just want the big picture. I slow the pace down when red personalities like certain project managers or superintendents just want fast decisions. I tend to rely too heavily on data, logic, and drawings, and less on tone, connection, and influence with the guys in the field. Reflecting on that made me realize that being right isn't the same as being effective. My leadership style is heavily influenced by logic and clarity. In construction, that means I tend to influence others by showing the plans, the numbers, schedules, risks, impacts, but not everyone is influenced by the same structure and preparation. I've learned and understood moments where I felt ignored or dismissed. It wasn't that people didn't care, they simply didn't share the same frames that I did. A superintendent sees the job through action. An architect sees possibilities. A subcontractor sees cost impacts. And me, I see the logic behind the decisions. So reframing helps me connect these worlds. Adapting doesn't mean changing who I am, though. It means expanding the way I communicate. With high yellow people, architects, and owners, I need to start with the vision or outcome before the details. Use fewer words and more big picture summaries, and communicate the why before the what. With high red leaders like your project managers and superintendents, I need to give the bottom line up front, then backfill details only if they ask for them. With high green personalities, HR, onboarding, and subcontractors, I need to focus more on the relationships and their feelings and slow down and listen instead of jumping straight to solutions. My biggest mindset shift after this class is reframing isn't losing my blue strengths, it's making them useful to more people. Construction is the perfect environment to apply the four frames. The structural frame is the drawings, schedules, scopes, contracts, logistics, safety plans. Construction runs on the structure, but too much structure becomes too rigid. In the human resource frame, there's morale and communication issues, burnout, safety, culture, conflict resolution, skilled labor shortages. People build buildings, not the drawings. In the political frame, there's subcontractor interests, internal negotiations, change orders, building constraints, owner expectations. Construction is full of competing interests. And lastly, in the symbolic frame, there's company culture, craftsmanship pride, safety values, mission statements, job traditions. Good leaders use symbolism to inspire teams. And real construction examples of this could be a major schedule delay that happens all the time on projects when our MEP trades are fighting over ceiling space. If we break it down frame by frame, the problem could be in the structural frame, clashes on the models or sequencing, political frame, negotiating space priorities, in the HR frame, lack of trust between trades, and in the symbolic frame, a lack of commitment to deliver quality work. That problem cannot have been solved by only using one frame. And lastly, in my vision, this course has helped me understand that being a leader in construction requires more than technical knowledge. It requires reframing constantly. As a blue, my natural strengths are preparation, logic, accuracy, and calm decision making. But to be the leader I want to become, I have to apply those strengths while also adapting to other frames. My leadership vision is to build teams and buildings where communication is clear, relationships are strong, and different perspectives are not only understood but valued. Frames and reframing have given me a toolkit I'll use throughout my construction career, whether I'm estimating a project, coordinating subcontractors, or leading a job site team. Thank you.